This conference will now be recorded.
Probably email us. All right. Call the meeting to order. Stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Sure.
Oh Lord, as we gather this day to do the important business for the people of the village of Owego, grant us wisdom, compassion, and understanding. Amen.
Amen. All right. Coach. Get rolling. First item, as always, is public comment. What do we got? State your name and.
Jeff Duke, live and work on Southside Drive. I'm an operator at the Village Wastewater Treatment Plant. Some of you have emailed, some of you were at the meeting. The DOT isn't really going to help us too much with that tunnel right away, it seems like. It's unfortunate, but that's not really what I'm here to discuss. One of the major things that I'm concerned about with the plant is safety issues. Emergency vehicles being able to access it, whether they actually fit through that tunnel. Fire suppression, what our options for that might be should there be a disaster. We have no less than 11 tanks, most of which are 20 feet high or deep that somebody could fall into. They would require SCBAs, some of them. And definitely some sort of equipment to recover people out of them. So since that tunnel is not going to be upgraded anytime soon, I just kind of wanted to come in and kind of get everybody's thoughts on sort of an action plan should there be a disaster. If we have vehicles that can fit in there, great. If we don't, I don't even want to get the ball rolling on you guys getting vehicles, but like options, you know.
All good things to think about for sure.
But as it stands, if somebody falls in one of those tanks, like none of us can lift someone out of a 20-foot tank with an extension ladder. If a fire starts, we've got one hydrant that doesn't have a lot of pressure. It could slow burn. And it kind of baffles me. Hey.
So after our meeting the other day, I did take the ambulance over. The ambulance is too fat,
All right.
but my only requirement is I need a spotter. And they're gonna go less than 5,000 an hour because there's about 6 inches of clearance in either corner. So keep that in mind.
We can always get you a spotter.
If we have to go, that's what my requirement's gonna be for the ambulance to go through there is you gotta have somebody in front of a spot.
I do have one engine that'll fit, just one of them.
You do? Okay.
But again, it's gonna be a slow process through the tunnel.
So somebody goes down in those tanks, you're probably talking about a technical rescue
Yeah.
for hydrogen cyanide and stuff. So you're talking SCBA, rope rescue, technical rescue laddering, people that are certified in confined space. It's not, it's a highly technical rescue that requires people that are trained to do that. And probably the closest team is Endicott or Bainton, or maybe Ithaca. I know Ithaca can do it too. If you're going to shuttle equipment, that'll be the technical rescue stuff that they need will be enough to fit in a pickup truck.
See, and I had heard from the previous director, Tracy Babcock, that once somebody did fall, but when the company showed up, they had to take all the gear off the truck and load it into pickup trucks there, which kind of delayed it. So I'm just thinking worst case scenario. I don't know if there's any official protocols, like, I don't know, OSHA, PESH, if anybody gets involved, but like a dry run or like just having some idea of response time, if that's possible, it would make me feel a lot better. I'm the de facto safety officer there. It's not an official title. I don't get paid more to do it, but I am the one that worries the most.
Great question. Yeah.
When you guys are working around the tanks, do you use safety harnesses, body harnesses with ropes and have a buddy there to watch?
So we always follow confined space protocol. So there's always a competent person to supervise, and we do have permit required confined spaces. Have I ever seen a permit there? No. But everybody goes in knowing the risks and knowing what safety equipment they need. And generally, I'm the competent person that's there to watch them, so they're not working there alone, so that somebody can call 911.
Do you have an oxygen meter on site?
We have a gas meter, so it's high ox, low ox, hydrogen sulfide, and a couple other things. I don't know. If I looked at the canister that we calibrated with, I could tell you. And I've only set it off once, and that was in a manhole, so.
So you do follow safety protocols, and whoever goes in the tank has a harness with a safety rope attached.
Yes.
Certainly look into creating a safety plan.
Yeah, and I know we have emergency response plans for most things, especially flooding and stuff like that, but I was just surprised that like in the 30+ years our ex-director, it happened one time and then it was never really addressed after that. So I just wanted to get in touch with everybody and see, that's great that an ambulance will fit in there. People obviously know about confined space rescue, so that makes me feel a lot better. But knowing that that tunnel's never gonna be exactly as big or as safe as we want it to, I just want to make sure that like the plant is safe and we're also safe when we're working in there.
It's always good to have an action plan in place. So, thank you for letting us know the dimensions that can actually fit through there when needed.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that to our attention. I'll work with Tracy and Dirk on that as well. Get their recommendations and see what we need to do to make the place a little safer. It's unfortunately, it's out of sight, out of mind, you know?
That's why they call us a silent utility.
Yeah, so appreciate you coming in and bringing that to our attention.
I will say too, I think that was a really good meeting on Friday because I don't think we were on DOT's radar at all before that. So at least we're on the radar, which is a step in the right direction. But
Yeah, but to me, it almost sounded like we took a few steps backwards because now the Federal Highway Administration kind of oversees things. So like, there goes the chance of ever getting an exit on there. It's a public access road, so it really like, the message I got from that meeting was, if anything happens to the tunnel, we'll make sure our highway works.
Well, that was definitely part of it, but I think they're more aware of it and maybe, maybe they'll look at things, if it red flags, they'd be more apt to do some sort of a bridge at that point.
Yeah, and I would almost wonder, I wouldn't even know who to contact. We have the people that oversee our permits, but if we were to contact somebody at the DEC and say, hey, do you guys have anybody that works with DOT, that works with plants that have access problems? Because that's, the DEC goes all the way to the top, really. They're governed by the EPA, so it's a state and federal issue at that point.
Yeah.
We'll look into it. Keep it in the loop. Anybody else? Public comment?
Thanks. So there's a few of us that have been.
State your name.
Oh, sorry. Just the off-camera. What else do you need?
What's that? This-
13 Cardinal Drive, Owego. So there's a few of us that have concerns about these bicycles that are around town that have the motors put on them. They're not the electric bikes. They're definitely a bicycle that has been modified and it can easily go 40, 50 miles per hour. They are revving motors crazy hours of the night. They are passing school buses with red lights on. They're swerving in and out of traffic with no cares in the world. They are a nuisance. I guess if that's the best term to use. What can we do about these people?
First line defense is call the police department for sure.
Okay, and if they don't see them, then nothing happens. So if they're swerving in front of my car and I hit them, they're on a bicycle, who gets in trouble?
You do.
I do, exactly. So there's a problem with this.
What section of town is this in? You're seeing this?
Oh, it's all in the village.
I'd like
Go
to add
on
to
to
that.
Chestnut, go on to East Temple, go on to
Page
Page,
Street.
Spencer.
I'd like to add to that, if I can take my board member hat off and become a resident, because I deal with that also. East Temple, Dave, I'm sure you heard them. Mike,
They come down
was
the
on
street.
East Temple, 3 o'clock in the morning. I mean, come down one time, okay. But you go back and forth, 5, 6 times, 3 o'clock in the morning, that's an issue. I've personally have witnessed over by Court Street. I just heard it. I know the sound because I've heard it 3 o'clock in the morning. This is during the daytime, and I'm about to turn left onto Court Street Bridge over by Carroll's right there. And there was a tractor trailer on the bridge, and then all of a sudden, he was there. Zipped across, and he did this maneuver that Evel Knievel would envy. And he came across there, and if there was a car coming, he would have got creamed. And he probably, the trajectory of him and the bike would have probably hit my windshield, and I would have got creamed. I've also know of bus drivers, school bus drivers, a couple of them that have witnessed this individual or individuals blow past a stop sign that's illuminated and out.
Does the new buses have cameras?
They have cameras.
Not that they're all wrong.
And these aren't just I understand that there are regular residents who have to use their electric bikes, and there are electric bikes, and there are citizens and residents of our community that transport through the town. It's not them. They abide by laws, and I'm sure there's a helmet law. Shoot, I use a helmet and I ride a beach cruiser, but I wear a helmet. And I don't go that fast, and I don't have an engine that revs. But I'm sure there's a law about that. There's many laws that govern, that protects these individuals, but most of the time these individuals are engaging in criminal activities. Most of these are individuals who are casing the neighborhoods 3 o'clock in the morning to see what they can shop for. So something needs to be done.
What is the laws on it? If
Exactly.
this is a
They're running
bike,
their engines all the time in front of my house and my friend's house. They literally go around the corner, you can hear them just ripping onto it, and then they take off.
Isn't it a CC law? That's what it is.
No, it's based on speed. So 20 miles an hour over, you gotta have, this is all off the top of my head. 20 miles an hour over, you have to have helmet and safety glasses. 30 miles an hour and over, you have to be registered and have a motorcycle license.
Okay, my point is, I don't care how fast they go and I don't care how much they drive. What I wanna know is if there's something that can be done about how loud they have them.
Well, it's a vague law. The law says an unreasonable noise. Well, if you buy the motor from the factory and that it's not muffler, what's unreasonable? A car has a muffler standard. Muffler, you know.
Well, that's like motorcycles, they have mufflers, and then people take the baffles out and make them loud, I mean.
Right, and they can be ticketed for that.
And they don't, I see Harleys going down the road all the time like that. I mean, I've heard loud points, you know, but I'm just looking at.
But they've also gotta have, when they're operating at night, they've gotta have a white front light, they have to have a red backlight, there's so many
Well,
reflectors
there's no
they
light
have to
on
have.
these, because you don't see them coming.
Well, I know, but what I'm saying is there is laws that they could be stopped for.
Right.
There's a lot of requirements for those bikes, whether they're electric, anything other than muscular, they fall under the motorcycle stuff and the moped stuff, so.
And they should still have reflectors either way, you know, but still.
does OPD know the laws to this? That over 20 miles per hour, they have to have a motorcycle license?
Yeah, I mean, they're police officers, so yeah.
Okay, so they can stop them at any point and ask them, right? For their ID. And if they don't have it, ticket, repo this bike?
So I'd say definitely like cameras, because if you get them on video, then OPD can try and figure out who they are,
Okay.
that kind of stuff.
Well, off camera, I'll send you to a house. Off video, off recordings, I'll send you to houses.
They may know who they are already too, so.
I'm sure they do.
I think the purpose of this gathering of people who are concerned about this is just to bring the awareness to our police department. I'm sure we just can't sit home and just call the police every time. I mean, we don't want to waste the police officers' time making a call every time they come zipping down the neighborhood, and then when they get there, they're not there anymore. It's a waste of time. Like many times I've come out to catch them on camera. After the fourth time coming up and down, I said, I got it, I'm gonna get them, and I'm out there and I got my phone and I hear in the distance. I'm like, darn, I missed them. I'm not gonna sit out there in sub-degree weather, wait for them to come back, and I know they do.
Yeah.
But just to bring awareness that it's not just one person, not just two person, it's not Karen sitting on the porch. This is not what that is. This is a really big concern. It's a safety concern, noise ordinance concern.
What time is it? What time you have to make no noises?
You mean curfew?
Yeah, curfew.
Curfew and noise ordinances are apples and
Yeah,
oranges.
that's different.
Two different things.
And our noise law is very vague. And
Yeah,
I don't think it has times.
Mike,
Since we have a pretty much, they have a pretty good idea of when this guy is running around the street, why maybe OPD car somewhere nearby about that time?
That's something we'll talk to them about. I'm sure they can.
I hardly, I mean, you used to see OPD down on Page Street, Temple, East Temple, Spencer all the time. And you don't see him down there anymore.
Well, that's because drugs moved out of the white market. Sorry about that. I
just want to bring awareness. I mean,
I think it's a concern for multiple people because if they swerve in front of us, as a licensed driver, we're the ones that are held accountable now.
Yeah, I'm driving.
Even though I never seen them because they have a black bike, they're riding like they're an idiot and they're in black clothes. But now I'm responsible and I'm getting arrested.
I mean, there's many times where I wanted to, maybe I shouldn't say this on camera.
I know.
I wouldn't do that.
You can stop there, dear.
I've done that myself, but I said, no. I drive a dump truck, that's what I use for my living, and I can't be running dump idiots over.
I just can't replace my door if I come out.
Well, yeah, that too. Mine's rusty and bent, but I mean,
I will say sometimes a dash cam can be worth 1,000 words. If you want to, that'd be something you'd have to do, but put one in your
well,
car.
yeah.
It saved me on numerous, like I almost ran some guy over on a bike in Binghamton. Because I have video that he caught right in front of me.
That definitely sounds like an idea, so I'm definitely going to do that. And I can't,
Because it is, like former Officer Winchell will tell you, if you're in a car and you hit somebody on a bicycle, you're in trouble.
I try to avoid it.
Unless you get a witness, like I was one time, to go to court and say, no, it was the bicycle's fault. And that didn't go good for the bicycle guy.
So we can send you directions of houses to check out and just keep OPD over in that area.
We will pass the word on, yeah.
Okay.
At least it's something.
And it's on public record that this has been addressed.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you guys for coming in.
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys' time.
Thanks for coming down.
Yeah,
If you want, or you can stay, it doesn't matter.
Generally, we stay till 11 or 12.
Right.
Past our bedtime.
Pass mine. It's warm in here.
I know, it's a lot more. Yeah.
All right, what else we got? Public comments.
Thank you so much.
You guys have a good night.
Mike?
The light there on Main Street, Center, Church, you guys made a decision on that yet?
We're going for
To
the
do with it?
traffic committee.
Rusty just hasn't been willing to look at the space, so I don't know.
What do you want to know, Mike?
I just wanna know if you've made a decision yet on what you're gonna do. Have you thought about, I know that there's been talk about the four-way stop sign, just getting one of those four-way red lights.
Like a little one?
Yeah, it's just a little single light that blinks four-way red.
No, we haven't thought about that. It's a good option to add to the list, I guess.
And it's still an ongoing concern, because I just read something on Facebook about somebody who's witnessed multiple near misses on that corner. So it's ongoing. I mean, I know it's Facebook, but I do keep my ear to the pulse of the village, because sometimes a lot of those Karens are legitimate.
I've had a couple of near misses there myself, trying to come out by the theater there, turn left. A couple of people like to turn right there in front of the old Nice Egg building.
Yeah, that is the hard spot to see if you're coming up
Yeah.
Church Street and want to turn left on the main. Anybody else? Public comment? Corey?
Corey Relier. I just want to touch base on Division Street, if you guys had a chance to talk. I spoke to DEC about that, and she says as long as we do not skid the logs and we cut the trees and move them with a skid steer, it doesn't affect the waterways. They have no issues with us cutting the trees out behind that Division Street that we spoke about. I didn't know if you guys had anything you could bring to the table on that, 'cause I know it's been like a 2-month process for me. I mean,
I don't know if anybody's thought about it anymore. Fred's not here tonight, he's sick. I don't know if we got much update for you.
can we schedule something? Because I'm a super busy guy.
I don't see why not.
You guys want to do a meeting Fridays at work?
So if you get more than 3 of us, it has to be like publicized and a meeting. If you get less than 3 of us, that doesn't have to be an official meeting. So that's probably the better way to attack it. If you want to just meet with people like individually or.
Perfect. That's schedule something tomorrow with somebody.
Right.
Works great.
We'll get you their contact info. It's all on the website too.
Appreciate it.
We can get it to you.
And then, other thing I wanted to talk about, probably I should address, is that I hear, and I don't know how true it is, that there's issues over by the church, over by your place. Strong, is it Strong?
Armstrong.
Armstrong. And the reason I'm even touching this is because they reached out to me to buy a couple of my buildings, or lease a couple of my buildings for a renewal ranch. So is there any truth behind that? Like, is there an issue over on Armstrong that the church property, does the board know anything about that, or?
It's not the best spot for that location,
Because
operation.
they reached out to me all week, the Nazarene Church, about purchasing or leasing a couple of my properties to do a quote unquote renewal ranch. And I just wanted to kind of touch base and see how true that was before I made any decisions on my end.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bad topic among the neighborhood for sure.
Okay.
Rusty?
Corey, you don't have to tell us a whole bunch of information, just would be interested to know, are you talking properties in the village or outside the village?
And I'm willing to take all the Nazarene Church money I can, so.
I'm just saying. And your buildings would be more of an industrial
Yes.
area.
Yep, and he reached out to me and said that they're having a huge problem in the neighborhoods with residential, and they want to do a renewal ranch, and the commercial/industrial zoning would work, want for money, so I guess we're on the same page.
Well, I would say talk to Becky.
What building, Corey?
I got a couple.
Do we want to build up a place for people to stay?
Yeah, so their idea is, they're gonna do they've had several amount of success with a rehab and a drug replacement and a renewal ranch was their word for it. Ideally, I'd like to sell one of them and just walk away. But, I mean, I don't know if they wanna spend that kind of coin. So it's, I just want to touch base on how much of a reality it is that it is a problem in Armstrong. I've heard from a couple of people, but I figured the board would know best.
Yeah, maybe I could get them to come to a pitch of like what they're doing there and some of the successes they've had, because they have, as much of a struggle it is, they've had some pretty, good numbers coming out of there as far as people they've helped get to rehab and whatnot. I don't know how much of the board knows, the inner workings of what's going on there.
I wasn't planning to say anything tonight.
I didn't figure.
Huh?
I didn't figure you would, but.
No, I didn't come here to hear any stuff, but I live on Armstrong, so I have an idea from the beginning, anything you want to know. There has been some issues, but, I think we're trying to work through some of those. And the mayor just said a second ago that might not be the right place to have it. It's in a residential area surrounded by families that had grandchildren and stuff like that. So there's some issues about what happens outside the building.
Well, when he talked to me, he did state that they're aware of it,
Oh, I know.
They're well aware of what's going on, and they're really trying to move in a different direction. To me, I don't want to deal with those people, and I don't judge, it is what it is. I mean, people don't want to deal with me, I don't want to deal with them, so it's gonna have to be beneficial for me, but I really want to check the base and see if it was reality before I did any further talks with them, because they want to schedule me, next week and look at some of the places I got, and I was kind of on the fence with it, but I mean, I understand where you drive by there, it's not what it used to be, I get it, and and the moped people are driving by, I get it, I see it, but do I want to make it my problem, is what I'm getting at.
Right, what you'll figure out, I guess. I will say their mission is pretty good, and if you look into them, they're helping a lot of people. Anything else? Anybody else? Public comment? All right. We got Pat and Jeff here from HOM.
Well, I left the schedule for our historic Owego Marketplace event, and I left parade permits for every event. And so basically, we just need, the first one coming up is Strawberry Festival, which is June 20th and 21st. So that would be the first one we would need, but most of them are the same as last year, with Lights on the River and Strawberry Festival being the biggest, the ones we have to get DOT permits and so forth. So if you could give an okay for these dates, that would be great, or if I could answer questions.
Right, so I know last year we approved the dates and then we went closer to the events and approved each parade permit.
Yeah,
Is that kind of
and
what
I
you're
sent
looking for,
parade
yeah?
permits for every event,
Right.
but we can adjust those according to need.
I know usually like the dates are no question, but sometimes the details of each event are more
Yeah.
questionable.
Well, like Strawberry Fest is the biggest one, we permission to use the courthouse for the wine town, and permission for fireworks, and then the parade, the Strawberry Fest parade, those are the big thing, and then of course security for the whole event, which Jeff is helping us with.
Has anything changed with the Strawberry Fest, or is it pretty much the same?
I think it's pretty much the same.
Rusty, did you get all of this?
No.
Does anyone have any questions? I mean, can we get an okay, maybe at least on the first couple, maybe the Strawberry Fest and Owego Porch Fest? Or tell us what you're thinking.
Pat, would you remind me, we had the beer tent Friday and Saturday right along?
Right.
The beer tent, a wine beer
Yeah.
tent, we had that on Friday and Saturday
Yeah.
for a fair amount of time.
Yeah.
I was getting
Was that in my box?
No.
No. I just took France.
Thank you. Nope, I don't have it.
And Wendy Post and I are still co-chairs this year.
Okay,
And we're still forming our committees.
okay. Well, should we start with approving the dates? So you got Strawberry Fest is Friday, June 20th, Saturday, June 21st. Porch Fest is Sunday, October 5th. Halloween Fest is Friday, October 24th. Holiday Showcase is Saturday, November 8th. And the Lights on the River is Friday, December 5th. I think the only, just happens to fall, but Strawberry Fest and graduation are the same day.
Yeah, that's an issue this year, but I
Yeah.
checked with the high school principal and they're gonna try and do graduation on Friday morning.
Okay.
And so it won't interfere. The only problem is, brings more people to town. We'll just soon have them come on 2 different weekends, but this year it's conflicting.
And it could be a traffic issue if they did like
And it's a bigger security. It's just-
Friday night and then you did Friday night, close the streets.
Plus, we're gonna use some of our young people who normally help out.
Oh, true, because it'll be at graduation.
We haven't got to that point yet.
I was surprised they're doing it before regions are finished,
That is early for
because
graduation.
regions don't finish till the 26th. Yeah. But
It's all rigged.
I think they moved graduation up a week, so it's a week after.
Right, well, they generally wait until the regions are finished, so.
Yeah. So I don't know why it's changed.
Yeah, yeah, graduation was changed, not Strawberry Fest.
Yeah.
Correct.
And we debated about that, but the week earlier, this year would be all right to have it a week earlier, but next year it would be way back like June 10th or June 8th, and that wouldn't work.
Yeah. Well, should we at least approve the schedule of events, not the parade permits? Rusty?
Well, yeah, but once again, if we say that you can have these events at all these times, we still need to know some details about these events. We don't want to say, oh, you can have it, and then we get close to it, and all of a sudden there's details that we don't know, or you don't know, or we haven't got clear. So for example, once again, Strawberry Fest. What kind of security do you want? What do you want from the police? What stuff do you have planned for that?
Well, I think that's the same as last year, but it's in progress right now. We haven't submitted our DOT, and Jeff is gonna help us along with Kennedy.
No, I'm not talking about the ability to have the road closed. I'm talking about what do you want from our police at that festival?
Same stuff they've had every year, Rusty, the numbers, but the numbers fluctuate because we had a written plan for this year and then they added people. So they said they wanted more, they got more people. But there's, like, we've had plans for the police, we had plans for the fire police, we've had plans for auxiliary police. We took away a lot of that and we hired a contractor to come in.
Well, there's one of the questions I'm asking.
Those are the plans, as she said, those are the plans we've had in place for 2 or 3 years. Nothing's really changed. But there's certain things that we've had, that she has to do with the contractor, with the police department and stuff, and that's something that we usually figure out when we get closer, because it used to be mandatory work days for certain people, and now it's not. So, like one year, I don't remember exactly what year, but we had to bring up 2 or 3 deputies to come in to fill positions.
So I'm asking that kind of stuff. So, but that stuff is things that I'd like to know, but obviously are not being worked on yet, apparently. Are you planning?
First, we have to establish the date, and then the committee, and then we start into the DEP permits and
All the details.
Yeah. But as long as you think these dates are okay.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the dates.
Second that.
Okay, so any discussion just on the dates alone? We're not talking about the details of the festival.
Well, generally, what we said last year, maybe the year before, was we will tentatively approve a date, but there have to be final details worked out with us before this comes up to the last minute. So when we do that, it doesn't mean that everything's, anything he wants to go. We didn't say, oh yeah, you may do everything you want, you may do everything last year. Mike's gonna have something to say in a minute. But these are, yeah, we want you to have the Star Festival, we want you to have these dates, but we want certain, like a 3-page report, whatever, of details of what, it doesn't have to be the giant report that we did, but some degree of details. And I know that we say things like, oh yeah, just the same as last year, but then lots of times it's not the same as last year. There's changes, there's things. I'm just trying to get that information.
Yeah, could we approve the courthouse for use of wine tent?
Well, right now we're doing the
motion.
Mike is going to, we're in discussion. Mike had something about the,
Oh, yeah,
from the
our EMS guy.
EMS.
What do you think about asking them to have the final proposal to you, say, 2 months before each planned event? And that way it gives them time between now and then to get all their stuff together and have the final proposal to you 2 months prior to whichever scheduled event. That way it gives you time to review and that kind of stuff. Just a thought.
Yeah, without us setting, we actually have asked for that in the past, but we haven't set a particular deadline. We just,
We'll never get it in 2 months.
like I said, we don't ask for a particular deadline.
Yeah,
We
I
just
mean,
want-
but I think a month is reasonable, but I mean, there's last minute changes with vendors and people coming in, people coming out, different things. But I don't think a month is unreasonable to have a set schedule and all that stuff. We can provide that.
I would say, like, most of the details you can probably have 2 months ahead, but there's something.
The only
little
reason we're
details
here
you're not gonna
early
have
is
to-
because you told us you wanted to know what was going on ahead of any of our events of the year.
We did.
We are here.
And last year we complimented you on getting here early. And then when we didn't want to give you, we do want you here early and tell us what you're thinking, what's coming up. But we didn't want to give you permission for some of those events that early. We wanted you to come to us and ask us and tell us. And
What types of details are you looking for? We'll make a list and make sure that we include those. Like, what types of things are you looking for?
do you want the village to waive their vendor licenses for your festival?
Have you ever enforced the vendor licenses for the festival?
Huh?
Have you ever enforced?
I'm
the
sorry,
vendor
I'm
licenses?
sorry.
I'm just asking.
No, I asked something. Do you want us to waive the vendor licenses for the festival? Do you want us to waive them and then you charge vendors money so that you can make money for the festival?
That's correct.
So that's a thing that you expect to happen. And that's a thing that, like all the other things, would be in a little plan. These are the things that we want. These are the things that we need. Not, can we just have the festival and we're just gonna do it the way we did it every time? These are the kinds of
Did you
things
want did you want the lockdown plan included?
I didn't say that yet.
Okay, well, I'm just asking. I'm trying to come up with a list.
Well, of the stuff that we want. I'm not prepared. I don't know. I just got this second. I'm not thinking this all. I don't know everything that we want and need.
But in all fairness, I've been asking for stuff for 2 months. We haven't gotten nowhere, so they're ahead of the game.
Oh, yeah, once again, and we're happy that you're here, and we told you that last year. We thank you for coming. We asked you to come early. We want that.
I mean, I guess most of, we just want to be able to proceed with planning for these events. And if you would give us that permission, and then we'll come back with whatever information you want.
I will ask one little piece I wanted to say. I did hear from a number of people and places that there's some degree of concern about cleanup. I don't know how that all works, but we might want to be talking about that better this year than we do. I do.
Yeah, well, 2 years ago, it was a disaster.
Yeah, so whatever, that's just a thing, another thing that we.
Last year was much better.
That we
We
might
solved it last year.
plan out better,
It was much
discuss better. There are other things.
One thing I'd like to touch on, I know parking is a huge thing, and owning the towing business for years, it's always been an issue that people from outside the county, state, whatever, come to the village, and their car gets towed, and, you know, they're never coming back, and the whole thing. I would like to work with Jeff somehow. I'll donate tows, I'll do them for free, I won't charge people, it's not really a big concept. I'll do whatever I can to work with the village board and your committee to, you know, I'll pick the cars up for free, whatever the case is. I can't move the heavy stuff, but the local cars, because, you know, by the time they come to my shop or values or whatever, they're upset. And then they're never coming back, and so I'll do whatever I can, you know, bare minimum, a $25 tow, something cheap just to pay my staff and, you know, keep me out of the realm of getting sued for towing somebody's car. But I'll do what I can to help with the village on that.
Very kind, thank you.
That is very kind.
Rusty.
So to wrap up my stuff, fine with me that we, just me, we're gonna decide, that we give you that tentative date for the Strawberry Festival, and we want you to come back to us several times and tell us what you got or whatever questions we might have. Which is kind of standard. So
We got a motion.
without us going into great further detail right now.
We got a motion and a second for all the dates.
All the dates are with the Strawberry?
All the dates.
Yeah.
This is just to say that they can plan and use these dates to plan. Shall we vote on those? I think we talked them to death. Terry?
Yes.
Chuck?
Yes.
Rusty?
I don't like to do all the dates this early, so I want to do the Strawberry Festival and the other ones later. I'm sorry, I was talking during the middle of it. So, no.
Laura?
Yes.
Dave? Yes. And yes.
Sorry to explain myself in the middle of the motion. Same thing I said last year, I don't want to do the ones that are 8 months ahead now. I want to do them in a different manner, but that's fine.
Do we,
Plan to do them all anyway.
with the Strawberry Fest, do we want to give them any of these permissions which they've asked for, which is the wine tent in Courthouse Square, fireworks, parade permit, but that's not,
And the parade.
which is just the street closures and the parade.
I'll make that motion and put that to, that they have to come back and let us know about what streets they need. If anything changes. But I don't see anything different from the other Strawberry Fests we had. Stuff, so. Well, if anything that needs to be changed, if something comes up, you'll let us know, obviously. I know you will. So, move that forward. I'll make that motion.
So that would be.
Oh, yeah, the Strawberry one just now, or we?
Right, Strawberry. So that would be to approve those three things, the wine tent and the fireworks, obviously pending proper permits and assurances. And then the parade permit, which is closes the streets and then lays out the normal parade.
So Pat, I can't remember what we did last time. Did you give these to the police chief? Did you give these to the police department?
They're on file at the police station.
Does he sign those before we do it?
Usually, either before or after, but yeah.
Yeah.
Both of us sign them, yes.
Is there gonna be a foot race? Is there gonna be a race?
The old 5K, that's gone.
Yeah, that's on the Thursday, but that's at Hickory's, so we don't bring that up here.
So that's the same plan as last year.
What are you planning for stages and where they would be placed?
They'd be the same, they'd be Courthouse Square.
Lake Street, near the barley corn.
And then somewhere on North Avenue there, in that corner. And maybe Tioga Bank, I don't know. Wendy takes care of that. I think there's 4 stages.
Yeah, I think so.
But we're not approving those details right now. We're just approving these.
Right, just
I assume we're approving the parade.
Specific things, right? We're
we're not approving like where the stages are and stuff, we're just approving
What's on this sheet?
fireworks and the parade.
And that's, Charles, that's what you made the
Yep,
motion
that's
for.
my
What's on
motion.
it's on this sheet, and we're seconded.
Terry,
Let's do it.
So we'll vote on that. We're just approving what's on the sheet here, which is just the light tent, fireworks, and the parade.
Let's do it.
Yep. Rusty.
Yes.
Laura.
Yes.
Dave. Yes. Terry.
Yes.
Charles.
Yes.
And yes. So you can move ahead with that. And then
Pretty much what it is.
come back with more detail.
Pretty much.
Yeah, we got. We got a lot to do.
Right. So that should help you at least with DOT stuff.
Okay, thank you very much.
While we're on the parade permit, we got the parade permit for the Little League opening day parade. It's in your packets. I didn't have Andrea come. It's the same as all, I reckon. It's the same as always. It's April,
I didn't get this.
April 26th, I think.
Yes.
Yes, here it is, April 26th.
Tell it to me real quick, Mike. It's
Police station down North Ave to the Little League field.
Standard Little League Parade, and what's the date?
April 26th, starts at 8:30 a.m.
And we have a parade permit someplace for that.
right here.
Move to approve the parade permit for the Little League Parade.
A second.
My only clause on this parade permit is that we close all of North Avenue.
Oh,
while
yeah,
we do it.
yeah, so it's not just going
Both
both
directions.
directions here.
Yes.
We do that on the Little League Parade.
Unlike the
Last year,
homecoming.
No, but we do it on the Little League Parade. We close the entire street.
I know.
Yeah, you have to.
And we did last year. We always do that.
yeah, just one way.
Not the Little League Parade.
No, I know.
Different parade,
There was some parade that. there
different
was-
parade, homecoming, we close half. For Little League, we close the entire street.
That's my only comment.
Is it on the permit?
Yes.
It's not specifically listed, but that's just,
We'll add it onto the permit.
yeah. Anyway, that's my only clause.
That the entire street is closed.
Close both ways, because I could have been mad.
I know, because I close it.
I know. Let's vote on that. Rusty?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Dave? Yes. Terry?
Yes.
Charles?
Yep.
And yes.
Good to see you.
I'll tell Andrea that's done.
Thanks,
Thank
Pat.
Thank you.
Cross it off the list here.
I'll let them know.
Okay, let's go back to department head reports, so we can get these guys out of here maybe. Good. EMS.
So we've had 49 calls as of last night for the month. 9 have been mutual aid. 5 of those were the fire up on Gaskill last week. No new members or resignations. All the ambulances are in good shape and fly cars, so that's good. No issues there. Our new video laryngoscopes have been put in service and around the trucks. So those are up and running. Mike Hopkins stepped down as an officer and ALS supervisor, and he took a 3-month leave of absence. So we won't be seeing him for a couple months. We had a LoSAP meeting with the vendor, and we're learning more. And when we had our meeting a couple weeks ago between EMS and the village, we talked about doing the mandatory trainings, and come to find out we can do those through LoSAP because we're part of McNeil and Company, and so we can get those for no cost just because we're doing LoSAP with them. So that will save us
Mandatory trainings, you mean like
harassment, yes, all that stuff. And we also have Scott Gurney as our new ALS supervisor. And of course, my favorite old business of the sewer issues.
You need me to sign paperwork for that, Scott Gurney?
No, because I just sent a message to the region. At least I don't think so. I got to double check on the state side, but
Let me know if you do.
I will. Questions?
I put your name on the list for talking about buildings. And so hopefully you'll get an email soon, and hopefully we'll schedule the meetings for Fridays.
Okay.
So, and Eric too. So we'll be talking about like critical facilities and what our wishes are for what we want to do with them. So we definitely want you guys to try to input, if you can come to the meeting or send notes or send, you guys people, represent you,
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can work together to solve some building issues.
That'd be good.
Yes.
We got plenty of. Any report on the status of getting the driver's records for the new
Yes.
drivers?
We're able to do that and go through and they're all on the
They're all
up and up.
clean, look good to you? Okay,
Yep.
Great.
So we're able to verify that they have them and they're valid, so.
Yeah, and they don't have more speeding tickets and reps and, two DUIs, whatever, Yeah, we want good, safe drivers for our crews. Yep. Perfect people.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks. Anybody else have anything for EMS? I don't know if there's anything on the agenda.
I don't think there is.
That'd be one thing.
There is one thing, but I want to make sure that it's not coming out of the EMS budget, it's coming out of the general fund.
Right.
Because we didn't ask for the expenditure.
Yeah, we'll see where it comes out.
Which one is it?
And with our current environment, it's not healthy for that.
So he's talking about, it's like 3/4 of the way down, about approved Coughlin Gerhart invoice.
Oh, gotcha, okay.
Yeah. So I don't know if we want to talk about that now, get it out of the way.
It would make me feel better.
Right. I mean,
So that way I don't have to give you my resignation and go home tonight.
Mike, I can't drive the ambulance because I can't back up, so we can't let him.
yeah.
I only drive forward, so he's got to stay.
I passed
Sorry.
out at blood, so I'm not gonna be.
I couldn't resist. I had to throw that in there. But I'll let you discuss it.
So,
Did you want to do something about that so he can go?
yeah,
So what's the story on it, Mike? Tell us.
so this is for the personnel,
Where we hired Coughlin Gerhart to do outside work.
right?
Is this the entire price?
That's that's what it got reduced to. Because we negotiated it.
Okay.
Question is where we pay it.
Yeah, let's send Mike home.
Let him watch it on YouTube? No.
Yeah.
Turn off the TV.
Oh, technical difficulty, no.
Wouldn't that come out of the general fund?
So it could, we have a contingency line, or it could have come out of the EMS fund since it was not asked for by them, but driven by the department.
I mean, I'm not saying it should necessarily come out of that, but it's all interior that. It's,
As far as legal places to take it, that would be the two legal places to take it.
Could we split it?
It'd be split.
But my concern with that, you don't mind me interrupting,
No, please.
is the fact that we're already contributing a certain percentage of the fees of Coughlin and Gerhart to the village as it is coming out of our budget, which is more than we typically use. So,
Yeah, that's true. We do spread some of that.
point taken.
I mean, I think we just spent like $9,000 or something to pay for their expenses last year, just on the general purpose.
Yeah, it's like a percentage of our retainer. That's where the number came from, but yeah.
What do we want to do?
I mean, we gotta pay it either way, so.
Yeah,
whatever you
I
wanna
understand
take it,
that.
Doesn't matter to me. Like, we've got money in the general fund. Oh, and so I've got all my spreadsheets, I should have printed them out. I don't see the treasurer's report on here. No, it is. But anyway, I got all my spreadsheets working, so I know the budget a lot better and who spent what. Well, we can take it from the fire department, they spent the least. But the general fund is tracking pretty much on track if we take out all of the grants and special projects we had.
Move to approve Coughlin and Gerhardt's invoice number 3001-76544 for $6,837 out of general fund.
I'll second that.
That would come from probably contingency because we don't have really a line anyway. I mean, we have an attorney line, but that's pretty much set for our retainer.
Yeah, I mean, we agreed to have them do it, so.
We did. We signed up for it.
Yep.
What shall be done?
On the invoice, it says that we've already made a payment.
That was the credit they gave us.
Well,
And
the credit's up higher.
They invoice us like for a bunch of stuff on the same invoice.
The original invoice had more things than just that on it.
So we did pay some of the original invoice. Yeah. 2750 we paid. Because it was unrelated to this issue that we held off on.
Wait, so you're saying that this payment that shows up on the invoice paid something for something else and not for
There
this
wasn't
work?
stuff on that, but there was like another page to that invoice that was normal.
Are you saying we don't see the whole invoice?
They had it in the clerk's office. I know there was.
Don't know what's on there.
Right. There's 3 or 4
I don't know
pages.
what's on your phone.
Right here.
There's an invoice from Coughlin and Gerhardt.
Yeah, is it, well, obviously it's not the whole invoice.
Well, so-
Or else it wouldn't be there.
So say like everything on their bill for their professional services was
Well, Nate's talking
like
about-
11,000. Then they gave us a
Yeah, so there was 2 prior bills, one in July, one in September. There was one payment made by the village in November for $2,327.50. And so I think what you're looking at right now should show,
Yep, it shows less payments.
I didn't say.
The 2,000.
it should show a less a payment and then less the courtesy discount. So you'll see total professional services, 11,564.50, less the courtesy discount. Total current charges, previous balance, less payments, balance due.
Yeah, but the total balance due is $9,672.50.
Right.
So on our agenda, it says 6,837.
That's the
the
total
current
current
charges.
charges.
But we've already paid some of it, so.
Previous balance.
Nate, you got that information in front of you?
Yeah, so the,
We owe you $68.37.
Just want to make sure we pay the right amount.
I think it's 9,672.50 is the total current outstanding amount. Because the prior 2 invoices, there were still 5,163 left unpaid from those. So the top line item I think that you're thinking of is like, how much did this cost? It's the 11,564.
11,564.
And we owe how much?
And you know what? I'm sorry, I'm not even sure. That's on this particular bill. There were 2 prior bills also. That's the. If I remember correctly, the entire amount from like everything was close to like 18,000. And so we've discounted that down to
All right, so this should be 9,000.
the total amounts between these 3 invoices. I don't have all 3 of them open in front of me. I can try to find them.
So the thing in front of us has an invoice number of 3001-76544, and it says it's $6,837.
Yeah, that's the total current charges on this invoice from December. But then you'll see right below that the total current charges is the previous balance of $51.63. There were then payments of $2,327.50. And so the math would be total current charges plus previous balance less prior payments, total balance, then equals total balance due.
Say it one more time, 9,000?
9672.50.
Thank you.
So that's the amount of money we're talking about.
I withdraw the motion that I made before, because it's not accurate.
Okay.
All right? Okay. Whoever seconded it, withdraw that.
Oh, I see. But I'll second it.
Okay.
Okay. So now we're talking about $9,672.50.
And which account?
What do you mean, what do you think?
Which account would we be wanting to pay that invoice out of if we were going to pay it?
Of course, there's no, yeah, that's total due. It's not this invoice number anymore. So this whole schmoll would cost us 18 grand something. We got a discount something. And we're gonna end up paying whatever, 14 grand or whatever.
11, 12.
11, 12, whatever the heck the total was. Okay.
Yeah. So question is, do we still want to take it out of the general fund? Do we want to take it all out of general fund? As far as where in the general fund? We have money in contingency. There's a line item for judgment and claims. We could move some money into there and pay it. We put 35,000 in our overall village contingency, so like we got the money, but
Yeah, we're gonna have
So
to pay the bill.
just for Mike's information now, whatever thought process there is should the EMS be paying, should our EMS fund be paying for any of that 12 or however much more we spent on that at all? Or should they pay none of that? We talked before, but we were thinking it was 6 grand, now we're thinking it's 12 grand. Just, that's the same question we had.
right.
And just a data point, we've spent $6,066.25 out of the EMS fund for legal fees this year.
That's how much was charged to the EMS, $6,000.
For normal legal stuff. Because typically, like the way our lawyers work, right, we pay them a retainer, which is a set amount every
Yeah.
year. For legal services, obviously, this kind of thing is above and beyond that. So then they get to bill us by the hour.
So it's like EMS paid half of it already. If they pay $6 something a year, and it's basically $12,000.
This is an extra 12,000. On top of the stuff that's like you have insurance, this isn't covered. It's like we went to out of network doctor.
Yeah.
Well,
So, yeah.
And just, it's a talk, so, the money that that EMS pays for their share of various things in the village are, that's not necessarily hard money, that's money of potential. Interestingly enough, once again, I'm not going someplace, I'm just saying it all, is that there were more expenses than that $12,000. Everything Nate did was under the contingency, not the contingency, was under the regular stuff. That $6,000 supposed to cover all that stuff. Any of his things weren't in that extra money. That was to pay for that kind of stuff, or any other legal questions that we have. It's not. It's got to come out of one place or the other.
That's what the
or
6,000
half or whatever fund.
It's for our normal legal questions, that kind of stuff. And supporting us at meetings or whatever.
Sure would be nice if we're not as far ahead as we want to be. It would be nice if we were 100, 200 ahead so that we didn't, this would be a good place to take it. I mean, since the EMS we're hurting everywhere. Village is hurting, EMS is hurting, can't pay for all the things we need for them. So it's
So EMS, since I've been intimate with the budget over the weekend, EMS, depends how you look at it. If you take the ambulance that we bought out of this year's money, 6 months in, they're
running in the red 50,000-ish.
Say that last part again. If we take the buck 20 or whatever we paid for, that ambulance out, we're what?
Then, so if we leave that in, if you take that out of this year's money that they've earned,
Okay,
then they're technically in the hole 53,000, I think.
after we spent that much, we're,
Right. If you factor that out and say we bought that ambulance out of their bank account, which we did.
Okay.
They made about the same amount of money in 6 months.
we made,
Like
The-
48,000 or something like that.
if that was 120, we're 50 out, they made 72 or whatever the number is. Gotcha.
So depends how you want to look at it.
Yeah, and once again, this is all, actually, we can do it now. This is all budget talk for budget time and how are we doing and what are we gonna do? So let's pay this bill out of something right now and we'll figure out when we get to budget time, where the heck are we? What do we have to do?
Let's do it in the general.
So we believe we owe them $96.7250.
That's what we believe now.
Move that we pay Coughlin and Gerhart $9,672.50 out of general fund.
Second.
Any discussion on that? Rusty?
Yes.
Yes.
Dave? Terry?
Yes.
Charles?
Yes.
And yes.
Get out of here.
Thank you.
Good night.
I appreciate it.
Take some more cookies.
Stay warm.
Yeah.
So chance.
Other department head, fire department?
None of us will be happy when it's budget time.
No.
So today marks the 12-year anniversary of losing Captain Matthew Picard
Is it today the day?
in the Air Valley.
Today's the day.
12 years ago. We lost Matt.
Chief, do we do anything about that? Do we have a little something or?
Up at, it's a non-formal on the like, we did 5, we did 10. So tonight we just met at the cemetery at 5 o'clock.
Thank you.
When we go to the rainbow.
And then go to the Rainbow for drinks afterwards is usually.
Excellent.
At his 10-year, we took the ladder truck up, put the flag up, did a whole ceremony there. So we'll do that at 15, but for the uneven years, it's very informal.
We don't want to ever forget.
Never forget that. No. We ran 334 calls in 2024, which was a 30% increase from 2023. And we answered 100% of our calls. We didn't drop one, amazingly enough. Trainings in December, we did 3 trainings and then took 2 weeks off for the holidays. We did Lights on the River, we did the food drive, and then we also did Christmas gifts for several families at the elementary school. Bad news is the ladder truck is still in Albany. Price is gonna be around 55. I copied Mike on a letter I wrote to them with my dissatisfaction. She got back to me within 10 minutes and said that once the bill is final, we can negotiate it down. On Friday, the 42,000 from FEMA hit my account. So I'm hoping to get it down to that 42,000 and it's just a wash. The control panel was reprogrammed this morning for the ladder truck. It didn't have to go back to Wisconsin. Luckily, they can send a program through the email. They plug it in, they program it. There were no alarms so far today, and I'm going to retest it tomorrow. As long as it passes, it'll be back this weekend. Knock on wood. Okay. Other than that,
But we did get 42,000 from
FEMA. That's what I'm going to try to negotiate the ladder truck down to.
That's what it was for.
Right.
Well, it was for something else.
It's for the compressor, but we had to pay for it last year, 3 years ago out of the budget.
So I guess we can use it for whatever we want. Really.
Yes. Yep. They said once it's in your pocket. I thank you guys for the use of this room on Saturday. It went very, very well.
Looked like you had a lot of people here.
We had 55 crammed in here.
Oh, we had a suggestion about using this room.
Yep.
Did you mention that?
That's what I was going to
There
mention.
you go.
With that in mind, on March 22nd, which is another Saturday, we have physicals. We normally hold them at the training facility. Doing the hearing test there is extremely difficult. if somebody's out in the main room talking, it carries in where they're doing the hearing test. The train goes by. While we're doing the hearing test, we got to start all over again. And when we were here Saturday, when we were in that room bringing chairs out with the door closed, it was extremely quiet.
Yeah.
So we're wondering if we could use the facility again.
What day of the week is the 22nd?
Saturday?
Yeah, we'll stick you on the calendar.
Okay.
So it'll be this room and that room. I mean, we don't have anything of importance in there, like, so.
No.
So
No, they just put a
They could just
computer
set
with the
Yeah.
headphones and then you sit
It's a
there.
perfect, it was a perfect setup.
Yeah, question.
Okay.
Any,
Mike's already got you on the calendar.
any tentative date on when the ladder truck be back in service?
I'm hoping Saturday,
This Saturday.
as long as the control zone.
You don't happen to have one of these phones, do you?
I do not.
Okay, so I might have to find you one.
With last time, what time are you gonna start that?
Lords will be here about 7:30.
I know it's right around.
Charles opened it last time I closed it, so.
March.
March might not be up there yet.
No, it's not. It's March 22nd.
Saturday, March 22nd?
Yep.
Just
Mike,
remind me.
Mike, if something else doesn't happen, probably Charles and I
No
will.
problem.
Yeah, or I should be around.
And you.
If somebody reminds me.
I can't see that
Yeah.
far in the future, so.
I can remind you.
Absolutely. That it?
I know, I have a guy that will remind you. He rides a little bike with a motor on it. I'll send him over your house.
He comes down anyway, it's fine.
But anyway, it's been a tough year so far. With all the fires that we had.
Yes.
Have been.
Yeah.
I mean, and without an injury. So that says a lot about the training. There you go. It says a lot about the training and the mutual aid that we have in place and everything, so.
We had, I gotta say, 2 great stops in the village, one on East Temple and one on Fox. The one on Fox, we limited very minimal damage on the inside. The code aspect of the rest of the house is questionable.
Well, that's out of your control.
That's out of my control. Nick came over, I showed him what I found, and he took it from there.
That happens sometimes.
Yeah, but they've been great to work with. And you all have been great to work with, and I appreciate it.
Mail catching on fire, Fords.
Oh, yeah, FedEx.
FedEx.
Was that our FedEx guy?
No, it was one of their, not their normal trucks, it was 40 Econo van front, but then different, like almost a rounded box on the back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The normal guy sorts his packages in the turnaround.
Ah, okay. No, it
Every
wasn't,
day.
wasn't Cowboy.
Yep.
Everybody knows Cowboy.
That guy is up there.
Yeah, we all know him.
He doesn't like me.
No. He loves my wife, she's got something every day.
Well, I ordered from the football concession stand.
Oh.
So he brought like 15 cases of water to my house one day.
Yeah,
Have a workout. Well, thanks, Steve.
absolutely. Thank you guys.
They say, stay warm.
All right. We're in from police department?
Nothing for this week. Joe is trying to get guys for our cop grant. There's a decent chance that if we're lucky, maybe something is coming next week.
That's what I heard too.
Yeah.
Sewer's not here, have we heard? from
Sewer's not here, but I got a little report for her, a report for the general fund. Let's
listen and see what happens.
December sludge hauling revenues were around $20,000. It's a plus for our bank accounts. New work truck, the Jeep, is approximately 1 month out of being delivered, provided there's no other transport issues, because they've been having issues transporting vehicles. Dirk is starting to look at different ways to clean out the 4 tanks that are over there, seeing they're filling up with sludge. They're about 50% capacity right now. So he's putting some feelers out to different tank cleaning crews so that we can expedite that as soon as possible, get some pricing.
I remember going through that with the upgrade, and that was expensive.
Yeah.
Putting those tanks in.
With the tunnel being the biggest obstacle, we're getting big equipment in there right now. So we'll have to look at smaller tanker trucks to fit through the tunnel in order to do it on such a smaller scale at a different multiple times.
Trying to remember how they did it. I think they
got a smaller truck and trucked it out to bigger trucks that were
On
outside.
the outside, yeah, that's very possible. With the very extreme cold weather we've been having, there's been some problems with the freezing of the instruments, and they're trying to keep up with the winterization of the pumps, and pump houses and things like that, keep them all operational at this point. Hopefully that'll end in a day or two. And as Jeff Duke came in earlier, he was discussing some of the fire department and EMS issues and the safety concerns for the plant in the event of an emergency, or which I'll be discussing with Dirk, Tracy, and Duke, Jeff himself, to come up with some sort of plan, emergency plan.
Yeah, we should loop in the police, fire, EMS guys too.
Okay.
Or even have a county emergency service.
County
Somebody.
emergency management.
Yeah. Police and EMS came to that meeting, and so that's why they knew they took the trucks through and such, which was great, actually, that they were already able to do that.
Yeah.
Probably kind of scary driving through them.
Tight fit.
Yeah.
I got here late for when Jeff was talking, so I don't know what got said earlier. And I heard Mike say that the ambulance will fit through the tube. Did anybody get told that the fire truck will fit through the tube?
Yeah.
Eric already said that?
One engine.
Yep.
fit.
Yeah. Okay.
Only one engine. So.
Yeah, 801, the smallest one, we'll go through it though.
Yeah, anything else can be put on.
Okay.
As long as he's got a spotter. Make sure it goes through safe.
Yeah, that's close. Okay, just one.
Sure, the helicopter from Lockheed Martin to airlift anything else over we need.
Right on the way.
Okay.
So that's the report for the sewer department this month.
Clerk's office, you got anything?
We could appoint election inspectors for the election. They're going to be the same as always. Jeff Collins, Cindy Goodrich, Joe Davis, Carolyn Wright, Stevens, and Woodward.
Move to appoint.
Do we have a second for that?
I'll second
No discussion on those guys. I thank them for helping out. They don't get paid, right?
They get paid.
Yeah, they do. They get paid pretty good.
They get paid $105 for 20 hours.
Never mind.
Who did you say they were? Jeffrey Collins, Carolyn Wright, Joan Davis, and
Carolyn Wright, Chris Stevens.
Chris Stevens.
oh, Chris Stevens. Yeah.
I think that's all.
Yeah.
Everybody else.
Usually the crew. Rusty,
Yes.
Yes.
Dave,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Charles,
Yes.
and yes. The executive session thing is clerk's office thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Got an executive session, we got a couple bids I want to have you go, I haven't opened the bid, but for the 178 Main Street to review those.
So it's attorney-client, because it's obviously
Attorney kind of, you
still for sale, so we don't want to read those out in public.
we need a motion for executive session.
I'll make a motion to go into executive session.
Yes. And we'll do this at the end. You got a second?
Second.
Rusty,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
Dave,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Charles.
Yes.
And yes. We'll go through all the other stuff, then we'll do that. Anything else, clerk's office?
I'm looking to.
Want to do the bumps?
Yeah, we can do the bump the budget.
Yeah, do it.
Want to do them now?
Sure. We got two of them there.
Move to bump the budget $1,450 from E2680 insurance recovery to E00454000405609 bleep not vehicle repair.
And I can tell you those are EMS accounts, by the way. So that must be from the here or something.
I second.
The E is what makes, that's your clue there. Any other discussion? Hope not, because I don't have much details. Terry,
Yes.
Charles,
Yes.
Rusty,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
Dave, yes, and yes.
Move the second bullet point on the agenda, bumping the budget as written.
A second.
Yeah, that's state grant thing.
Yep, the state grant one.
Yeah, yeah, these are, I get on the clerk's office a lot, but these mess up our treasurer's reports and stuff if we don't do this.
And the auditor
Yeah, we're
wants us
supposed
to
to
do
do
it,
it.
and we need to do it.
Rusty,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
Dave, yes, Terry,
Yes.
Charles,
Yes.
yes. Next one,
Next one is, so we've got Nikki that's taken over Cindy's job. She's been here a little over a year now. Taking on a lot of responsibility. She's like a great hire.
She's awesome.
yes.
So.
I move to make that motion.
I'll second that.
$3.10 raise.
It's $2.90 raise.
That's what I said, $2.90.
She definitely deserves it. She's been
Yeah.
doing a lot of,
And she's super pleasant.
yeah.
No, she's a great ass.
Yeah.
Vote on that and I'll tell you the next one.
Let's vote on that. Rusty,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
Dave,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Charles,
Yes.
and yes.
Now, not on the agenda, but we discussed this, it's like Cindy, who just retired, wants to come back and do a little cleanup. She was working on all these records and she was kind of purging them out. So she wanted to know if she could get hired, like $20 an hour for, so many hours, but I don't want to do that until like for another month or two, but I just want the approval,
Let us
want
know.
to do it at our leisure. So she had a whole stack of all the personnel records. She's been purging them. Before she left, she didn't quite get them all done. She just wants to offer a bucket list.
And she keeps bringing those comments.
And,
That's you. Okay.
but she was looking at like $20 an hour.
And how long you think this is gonna, just got any feeling about it all?
That's, I don't.
Week,
I don't
month, year?
What's that?
A week, a month, a year?
Like maybe a month, so what's that? Like a couple hundred hours total.
So you want us to,
Just put down for up to 200 hours.
do you want us to hire her now or now starting at your leisure? or how do you
Yeah,
want to-
at our leisure, because I don't want to really do it until we get done with our audits. See where we are. She just wants to schedule for her schedule, so she can schedule.
She wants to know that we're interested in that.
Yeah. We still
So move to hire Cindy Meyer, part-time, $20 an hour, starting at the clerk's, starting at clerk's discretion. Up to what, did you want that in there, up to,
We'll leave it right. I won't go.
Don't put any-
I'm not-
we don't have to put a limit on it, if we don't like it, we can always, so what I just said, $20 an hour, clerk's discretion starting. No benefits.
No better.
Part-time.
Okay.
Second. Okay. Any other discussion on that? Terry,
Yes.
Charles,
Yes.
Rusty,
Yes.
Yes.
Dave, yes, and yes.
Now, talking to Jan today, she submitted the 21, 22, or 23 annual report.
Yeah.
Annual report. And so I'm gonna give you guys all a copy of that. We have copies on the copies for your review, which I guess we're supposed to do.
Yeah,
We
thank you
will-
for the audit. told
We
us.
will give you guys a copy of all that.
Which year was this one, Rod?
22, I think, or 22, 23, but she's always like a year behind.
But we're getting close to being caught up.
We're getting close, but. So she did send that in, and I will make sure we have. And then, we've had some feelers out for another company, like a bookkeeping company, so. I won't check, I don't want to jinx that one.
we're trying to get some better support for the office staff who are not bookkeepers.
So we're working on it. It's gonna be one of our audit staffs.
This wouldn't be a bookkeeper per se, but it would be a bookkeeping company that would help
Right.
and do bookkeeping, but not like a full-time person here.
They said they would roughly be like 8 hours a week.
We're working on that.
But we have to get some of the other stuff finished up. Working on that, I'm not gonna say any more.
We eventually do need some kind of bookkeeper or something. Keep that on the horizon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Make sure you got to pay my bills.
Yep.
Let's pay the bills.
Paying the bills. I got it there.
See some of my bills?
I wish.
All right, all right.
Career.
Walk out.
What's
that?
We're on top now.
Yeah.
I do that.
You gotta pay the bills next month.
No, Mike was saying a friend fell down Booker.
Booker hip? Oh, no.
Why she's not here?
Oh, yeah, you didn't hear that one.
Yeah.
Do you know what hospital?
Lord.
When we talk treasurers and paying the bills, I always think of friends.
That's true. She always analyzes
Yeah,
it.
right. That's why.
Well, in that spirit, I'd like to go over a couple of cemetery bills right now.
We'll have to set a car and call and
This is payment bills.
payment bills. I could say friend.
Oh, yeah. Pay the bills.
Mike, you looked at him, you're good.
Look at?
Mike said you looked at him, he's good.
Yeah, they're up. I didn't see anything crazy.
You made a motion?
I made a motion.
Pick somebody. Me.
Rusty.
Any discussion on the bill? We have, it's not official, but we have heard little things here and there from the auditors. And they are very thrilled at how well our department heads go through their bills. It's a good thing. They got a lot of bad.
They're waiting,
That's a
yeah,
good
I can't wait for the real stuff.
thing. Anyway,
Well, they like that.
oh yes, and our recordings. They got a couple of good things.
Yeah, they haven't interviewed the trustees yet, it's coming.
It'll be coming. I probably answered some questions wrong, that's okay. All right.
Go ahead.
Rusty.
Yes.
Laura.
Yes.
Dave.
Yes.
Terry.
Yes.
Chuck.
Yes.
And yes. Yes. I know. Treasurer's report is next. Everybody get it?
Yep.
Okay, so I got screwed up because I somehow thought this was the first meeting and not the second meeting, but I did fix all my spreadsheets. And so now I have the summary of kind of where we're at. So we're 50% of the way through the year, and we're tracking just about 50%. The sewer department is behind, but that's normal for them, because like they just had their $600,000 loan payment come out.
They get a big check, a couple $100,000 a month.
Right, from the unpaid sewers and stuff like that. So that's kind of normal. So I don't see anything crazy. There's a couple departments we gotta check into.
We've got some transfers that we've got to do. Revenue received into the.
Yes.
budgets.
That's,
Like ARPA and,
yeah, we got some ARPA stuff that's not, again, this is where the bookkeeper comes in. It's not accounted for correctly in the accounting system, right? It's been done correctly, but it's, when you look at the treasurer's report, it doesn't look.
it's got to get over to the line item that matches that budget.
Yeah, we gotta do more of those bump the budget things. So,
So basically, that just has to be transferred.
right, so like we brought the money in, we've paid it correctly, just in the reports, we have to make it look like it. And then that flows into our end of the year report.
Like the cemetery one. paid 100 and say 60, took a CD of 80, maybe took somebody donated some money, so it looks like it all came out of Fred's budget, and then we have to put money back in his budget, so it doesn't look like he's running.
We spent 100-some thousand on road repair in the cemetery, where we had zero budget.
163, I think.
Because really, we spent no money out of this budget, it was all cobbled together.
We just had to do this.
Right.
And like, the police department spent 60,000 to buy a car, but it was ARPA money that needs to go back, you know what I mean, like.
Give it up. That's, we're tracking.
So that's where the bookkeeper comes in, helping us balance all that out in the software, so that your reports come out right.
And the fact that we're running two different softwares at the same time.
We're all on a new one now.
We're all on a new one. Some of the old stuff.
But anyway, that's the treasure. And next month, or before next month, I'll print my spreadsheet out, my fancy cover page of, now that, that was all the software, right? So when we switched softwares, all the account numbers changed. So I used to be able to dump the data from those reports into an Excel thing, and it did a whole bunch of math. Turned lines red and green, and all the account numbers changed, and that's what it keyed off of. So this last weekend, I went through and redid all the account numbers for our whole budget.
It's a pain.
So it works again. So
Well, you do a really good job
So
with
you'll
the
be
budget. so
seeing
we
my
can
numbers more.
Get through quickly.
Yeah, when you switch all the numbers halfway through, it's like, no, how do you figure?
And they're the same, but like they added zeros and dots turned to dashes. Anyway. So anyway, somebody wants to make a motion, second, to just accept that you got it.
I'll
second that.
Okay. And we'll vote, saying you got it. Rusty?
Didn't get it, abstain.
Laura?
Yes.
David? Is he yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Terry? Charles?
Yes.
And yes. There we go. So now we got 2 rounds of minutes.
Did you abstain?
I did.
You didn't get the reports.
Oh, I didn't get the reports.
We get them to you. And maybe they're in your box, maybe not.
I've been to that box.
I can't believe you didn't get
He got boxed out.
Anything's possible.
It was a messed up week with the holidays. All right. We got 2 rounds of minutes, January 6th and 9th.
I motion to approve the minutes for January 6th, 2025 with the addition of my report.
Second.
Any other comments on January 6th? Insurrection Day. Terry?
Yes.
Never happened.
There was no answer.
That's all part of it. Charles?
Yes.
Rusty?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Dave? Yes. And yes.
And then for the minutes of January 9th,
Those were badly done.
motion to approve those
Probably.
as submitted.
Second.
Anybody, how about we motion to approve and we add the subject line of let's add a subject line of what we discussed at the meeting. And we'll say it was a EMS
Right.
discussion.
Isn't that what I put? I didn't type the minutes, but I wrote on paper.
Yeah, it doesn't say what we talked about.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it does, okay.
Never mind.
I only wrote like
It
one
does
sentence.
have it,
Never
yeah.
mind.
Yeah, I mean, but what could you say? Yeah.
Forget that part.
It wasn't much to
That's
say.
fine, it does have it.
We talked about EMS stuff and then we left. Pretty much the minutes.
Yeah. So I'll motion to approve those as submitted.
Rusty?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Dave? Yes. Terry?
Yes.
Charles?
Yes.
And yes. Moving right along, trustee report. Dave? Any trustee report?
Nothing other than what I've said in the sewer report.
Okay. Rusty?
No report.
Charles?
It has all been covered.
Good. Oh, never mind. Laura?
working on the Clean Energy Communities grants, and I've got a lot of approvals. I need letterhead of the village so that I can put, I can do a couple of things. I have to get a invoice to Joe Science Equipment. So he needs the purchase order on our letterhead. I also need a letterhead to send a bill to Nest because they still owe us money back from the summer intern from our agreement. So I just need to send them something so that they can send us payment.
So if
And so
we just send a bill to somebody, I would have Nikki and Kevin do it.
They said they don't have invoices, so
We should figure that out, because I don't think we should be just sending out bills.
so I just need
We should-
something.
Right, like we the board shouldn't be sending out bills.
We'll do, just tell us what you want. We have letterhead. Send them out, just tell us who you want to send it to.
Figure that out, because we should be somehow tracking that, like clerk's office wise.
Tell them what you want, how much.
Our auditors would yell at us if we start sending out bills for sure.
Yeah, so it's not. I guess it doesn't have to be a bill, but it'd be like a letter or something that just says like, per our agreement, please send us $2,700.
Send like an email like that.
Should we do the same thing for signs?
Yeah, so I need it for multiple things. And then.
No, but if we're not supposed to send one to them, should we not be sending one to signs? Should the village be doing it instead of you?
Right, yeah, the village should send it, like the
So-
board members should.
Yeah, so say like,
Or like Fred, maybe you could send it out or something.
yeah, like, so they can just, take a copy of the purchase order and put it on something that says, yeah, this is the list of stuff that we want. That's what it is. It's not really a purchase order, it's just a list that says these are the items that the
Kind of
village
picture
is
some broken thumbs.
wanting to order.
Some weed whackers.
Yeah. And so I was able to get money approved to be wiggled around amongst the budget items. So the landscaping equipment came in under. So to move the money over to the car account. And then I found level 2 chargers that are less expensive each. And so to move some money out of that budget line to put into the car line. And we are $256.60 short of that for the car. So we could have the village pay $256, contribute $256.60 that we're short for the car, or we can take it out of the solar array.
You're gonna find $256 for a car.
So I'd like to ask if we could, I just make a motion that the village pay an extra $256.60 for a car for code enforcement.
And is this, like, we found a car, it's state bid, it's all that kind of stuff, like this is the final price?
Well, it could fall apart if the car gets sold before we can get to it.
You have an order? I think you have an order.
So I'm trying, but like it's such a long process to move the money that the dealerships aren't going to hold the cars, And so
So you need that to,
like we don't have money to put down on it for them to hold. They would like us to put money down to hold the car, but like I don't have money to do that with.
How much they need, like $100, $50?
Well, we could put money down if we get it back.
Right.
That's not a big problem.
Right.
We can put a deposit down. It's not like it's really costing us.
find out how much they need to put down.
Yeah.
Okay.
This always seems very vague about the money and where it is and when we get it and how we get it.
Well, well, is there a second for that motion?
I was second.
Okay.
This is for the $256 for the, make up the difference for the
Yeah, it's a
electric vehicles.
$256.60.
60 or 66?
60. 256.60.
I'm sorry to say this, but I gotta say it. We're talking about all these things. How are we, no offense to you, because you're working your butt off to do all this, how are you moving money around inside of these things from this thing to that thing? How are, since we're trying to be satisfying the auditors, how do you get to do that, moving that money around, just you yourself? How's that go?
I'm the project the lead is assigned to it, and I don't know, I just asked amongst what we have in our approvals to slide the,
What?
I mean, they're approved expenditures and we haven't spent them yet. So I was just I asked the state if they would slide, adjust their budget items.
Right.
So that
Because
we
these
can
were
get
the
these
items that
approvals.
you had originally intended on getting and that we.
Yeah, we're gonna
basically
spend X
approved.
number of dollars on
Right.
these electric equipment, we're gonna spend X number of dollars on
Right.
the car. I'm just wondering,
So the equipment's been approved, it's just that the money is decreased on some things and increased on others. That's our problem.
yeah, I get that, except we're talking about here about auditors and bumping things and making sure that we do all that stuff. And here on this piece of our thing, we have none of that. Just asking.
Like when we do it on the DRI, right, it comes here and we all vote on moving that money around.
So the money for this, there's 15,000 already deposited into our account that we received by check. And then tomorrow I can start the process for us to try to get the reimbursement for the first 25% because we already got approvals for the purchases. So then we can get another check for $56,250. And that's what we'll need to have in our account so that we can purchase the car. So we already have 15,000 for doing the landscaping equipment. But we'll have, we'll do this process to get the first 25% out of the next 225,000, which is $56,250. So that way we'll have enough money to make our purchases, and then the state will pay us back for what we don't have covered.
Another question, sorry. If we've got $15,000 already, why would it be our priority to buy landscaping equipment in the middle of winter instead of putting the down payment on the car that we don't have any money for a down payment to hold?
So we need to purchase the landscaping equipment, show that we purchased the landscaping equipment,
Okay?
and, and use it. Not be using it right now, but
purchase it, show we purchase it and use it to do what?
we can't just take the money and not purchase the equipment. We have to purchase the equipment and show that we, paid it and got it.
So we got $15,000. That was a piece of our total amount. Is there a reason why that's earmarked for the landscaping equipment as instead of the car?
No, it's not earmarked exactly that way. We combined all the grants. There's 3 grants.
Yep.
And we combined them all together.
Yep.
And just one of them was a low enough amount that they sent us a check. And the others, we have to go through this process. That we get the 25% ahead of buying something, and then we get the 75% after we buy it. So this is,
So it could be changed. It's a lot of work at your end. Take the 150 and apply it towards the car rather than the landscaping equipment at this point.
This, our total money that we are getting from the grant is $240,000.
Correct. Eventually.
And they've given us 15 grand so far.
Mm-hmm. And out of the remaining 225,000, I'm gonna submit for 25% of that, which is $56,250 for us to get, to sit in our budget so that we can pay for the landscaping equipment in the car.
With a shortfall of 256.60.
No, that's out of the,
Oh, that's for the
the
water.
4 budget line items that they have for, because we're getting 4 products, 4 energy products. And so that's the budget line items that we're able to get moved just because of what we're spending on each thing. So it's not like the money changes, it's just like how much we're paying for each thing because we got final numbers.
Right, got it.
Thank you for doing all this work.
Yeah, it's a tremendous amount of work. But you did understand my question. If we got 15 in our account, what are we required to do with that 15? It's been decided that what we're gonna do with it is pay for the whole schmeal of the what you call it, the gardening stuff. And then when we get some more, we're gonna move along on the car, but we just said we can't hold the car because we don't have money. Can we take some of that 15 or something and use it as a deposit on the car instead of buying the other stuff? Do we have to buy it in that order? Or do we have to buy it completely? I'm not understanding that piece.
Oh, if we can just put a hold on the car with that money.
Sure.
We can take it out of, it's all gonna come out of this line item, so, yeah.
Well, find out how much they want for deposit.
Okay.
Yeah. 5,000.
And then if we
Don't
didn't.
respond to me right now.
And if we didn't pay for all if we can, and we didn't pay for all the gardening equipment now, then we don't pay for the gardening equipment now, but we'll have the car held and I assume the next thing will be that we'll get the money for the car.
Let's lock up the car now. We don't want to.
Rather than buy it.
Well, let's get the car now.
Yeah.
Because we need it.
Yes, we really do.
Are we gonna scrap the old car? That might be the $256.
Yeah, we probably get that one.
Yeah, the old car has a lot of issues. We don't want to keep it big. But that's why we need the new car, because the old car has a lot of issues.
Right.
All right. Okay. Lock in, tell them, whatever they want for deposit, we'll give it to them.
Excuse me.
Okay.
Is that it? Don't forget we have an executive session.
I'm not, did we actually vote on it 250?
I'm not trying to mess up your stuff, Laura. I just was trying to decide.
We had the motion.
You know, why, if we need the money for the car deposit, we can do it.
We had a motion in the second, so do we
Makes more
withdraw that?
Makes more sense to me to buy a car in the middle of winter than weed whackers.
Weed whackers will be here when it's ready.
Right.
So do we want to vote on this $256.60?
Well, that was because we were gonna be short that much money.
We're still gonna be short that much money.
Right, at the end of the day, we're gonna be short that much money.
All right, so let's just vote on that then. We already got a motion in a second. I seconded it.
I'm fine with putting $200. Like Terry says, when we scrap this other car, we'll
We'll
get it.
make sure we get 256.60.
Let's vote on that. We're gonna chip in that much money. The total price of the car.
So basically, it's gonna balance your budget.
Right.
Yeah.
With the money, yeah, with our money we're getting and the price of the other stuff and the price of the car, that's what we need to pay for all that stuff, with what we're supposed to get. We voted that, we put it in there out of our general fund.
We probably don't even need anything, because Fred could just say, do it.
Okay, let's vote to do it.
Rusty.
Yes.
Yes.
Dave. Yes. Terry.
Yes.
Charles.
Yes.
And yes.
Thank you. I attended many meetings. Including one where we talked to a CRS administrator for Johnson City. And so she talked to us about like how it works, like how they got into the system, what it's like for them to like process stuff over the year and do reporting. So it was really informative to see how like somebody, very close to us is able to do the job. They don't have software and they're using maps from the 70s and 80s. So if they can do it, we can, it shows that we could probably, there's friends nearby that we can ask and stuff. So that was nice to talk to her.
Do we know what discount they're getting? Did you ask her that?
I don't remember. But it's not like they're at maybe an 8 or a 9 or something. And then Thursday, we're going to talk to the town of Greece. Some people on the town of Greece, they're CFMs. And so the town of Greece is the furthest ahead in the CRS program in the entire nation. So they're like at a level 5 or something.
I remember us talking with them and about them before.
Yeah, so many years ago, they came and talked, like showed up one of our meetings and
They had all their ducks in order and they had very little flood problem.
Right.
I'm just saying that theirs was an exceptional set of circumstances.
Right.
I remember all that.
Greece, New York, right?
yeah, they're up by like Rochester.
And usually,
And
so the
that's-
keyword, they're town, so they're a much bigger entity.
Yeah. And we're building the subcommittees for the BRIC DTA grants that are getting worked on. And so I sent out a list and all of the trustees are on the risk assessments list, which is like the critical facilities for us to discuss what the village's needs are and how high they are and what our priorities are for our plans for the buildings and what we want to see worked on. So we're hoping that the meetings will be possibly on Fridays, maybe at 11 or 2, because those are times where it seems that like most of us have been available in the past, because that seems to be your day off for doing stuff.
Usually.
Yeah. So.
Probably when you're in March, I think I got some stuff to do. But
So one of the subcommittees is looking at the building codes plus up possibilities of trying to get a CFM for 3 years paid for, where we would just pay 10% and the grant would pay 90% of their salary. So we'd hope, to win that, and we'd ask for software for the village and some more education and training. It's like they would review our codes and give us an assessment, and it would be to help us with zoning also. So CFM and zoning.
do we have Julie looped in on this?
She is. Yeah. So I don't. So when we they asked us to form subcommittees to meet weekly, and so do we want the consultant? Do we want to pay Julie extra when we already have the DTA team doing the? I mean, it's like weekly meetings, and she's already got several. So this would be adding like more, and it's us that we should be hearing from.
Yeah, I'm just more concerned with like the following, if we have to get stuff done. Like, we don't have a lot of bandwidth to get stuff done, we're paying her to get stuff done, so. Like filling out paperwork or applying to things or whatever.
I mean, she's got some contacts too, which I think might help, but I don't know how you feel on that, Laura, but sometimes I do think she knows people who know things. I mean, and I'm new to it, so I mean, I feel like I'm on this learning curve with these meetings.
So, but for right now, the BRIC DTA team has somebody who's facilitating all the meetings, and they send out all the invites and stuff. And so, like, we don't really need to pay Julie to also do an agenda, for the same meeting, for each subcommittee meeting. Like, we're just meeting to talk about what we want in subcommittees.
I don't know how
And
it
so,
works, so.
yeah, so Julie's already getting, doing her work, at 2 BRIC DTA meetings a month for this. So why should we pay for 2 more meetings a week of subcommittees at her rate?
As long as we're checking the boxes for the DTA people. Rusty?
However, we contracted Julie, she's gonna do a certain number of hours, certain rate. How are we with her? Is she under budget, are we under budget, way over budget? How are we? I don't know.
I haven't looked into her, but we'll have to look into that and see where we're at.
She went over budget last year on the hazard mitigation. And so, like, having like double weekly meetings right now does not seem the best use of her time, especially if they're just working on, we're just trying to figure out what we should put in grants and reading it over.
Although the particular grants right now, they are due in within the next 30, 40 days, correct? So this isn't going to go on for months, these meetings. This is a 4 or 5 weeks sort of thing. I just worry a little bit about deadlines, because I can't help you a lot. I can help you some, but I don't, know all the things. And I feel like when you're dealing with a kind of a short time span, I'm worried about that. I mean, realistically, what would it be, another 8 meetings?
How long are they? An hour maybe?
Yeah, they're supposed to be an hour.
8 hours.
I don't know, would it help to have someone else who knows kind of the ins and outs? Because I don't know the ins and outs, and that's what I worry about.
She doesn't know the ins and outs either.
Well, she knows some of them, and she definitely
Those people that.
I mean, she
Writes a lot of grants too.
Right, I mean, I did different sorts of basically grant writing in my last job, so this is, these are a little bit different.
The grant writer is on the calls with us. And,
Linda?
Nelson, Sean Nelson.
Oh, he's from the DTA people?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He's from CDM Smith, so he's doing the grant writing for us.
Okay.
So, I mean, and it's already begun. So, we just need people to read it over, and there is a group reading it over already. So,
Okay.
I don't know. I just don't think it's appropriate for us to have somebody to pay a consultant to sit on these meetings right now, when we're all, there's going to be so much more for her to work on, and this is the job's already getting done by the BRIC DTA people.
Just send her a note.
Does Julie do any volunteer stuff for us anymore? Is it all paid?
Yeah, if she was just gonna sit on the meetings and like listen, that'd be fine. But she's charging us for everything. And she's charging us for like researching what she doesn't know. So like,
So I guess your answer is no.
What?
As far as if she does any volunteer stuff, sounds like no.
Apparently not. I don't know. I just asked the questions.
Right.
yeah, if she was volunteering, it'd be wonderful. But if, if we're paying such a rate per hour and having so many, we don't have to have so many meetings. It was just suggested that we have the, 2 subcommittee a week for each one.
Right. Yeah, I just know that code enforcement grant is a big one. Try and get that.
Yeah,
For the
that'd be
CFO.
great to have that.
Or we gotta do.
So we're just making a decision to stop paying this much, or what are we doing?
I think we're doing anything.
We're not doing anything.
Okay, I just wanted to know what they were.
Because right now Julie's not in those, right? So we're not paying her to be in those.
We haven't started the subcommittee meetings for just these grants. Like she's included in knowing about them and stuff and would get, reports or minutes from them. And she could come too, but I just don't think it's appropriate for us to be paying her for like running these meetings that she's not going to be running.
Yeah, I would expect her
And
to be
so
running.
many of them.
Any of the information in these meetings that the subcommittees come up with or ideas are gonna be run by her eventually anyway. Is that what you're saying?
It all just
She can
comes up.
apply at a grant. She has to write it.
She's not. No, there's a grant writer from the
Already there,
DTA team, and he's already writing them.
Okay, so your question is why are we paying her to?
Yeah,
She really
why,
doesn't need to be there.
why pay her for something that she's not an expert in any of it?
She's not involved, gonna be involved in any of it.
And any of these grants that come out of all this will eventually have to come here and get pitched, and we'll have to say, yes, file it or whatever.
Well, we'd want to have this come up at this grant come up at this next meeting because it needs to be sent to New York State for approval by the end of this month. And then it goes to the federal application deadline is like
So it has to be sent to New York State
March or
end of this
April.
month, like next week. Because the end of
Maybe.
January is next Friday.
Maybe that's for something else. There's something that we have to have like something in by something for the state. No, maybe it's February. It's February, end of February that we need to have it in.
Just so that we present it and talk about it here
Yeah.
before.
Yeah,
Go
it's
some
February meetings that it's gonna come up in the end of February that it has to go to the state. So that's why it's gonna come up in February. It's gonna come up in February. Probably at the first and second meetings in February. To get like introduced.
Right.
And then the second one to most likely get voted on. So that's most likely, depending on what work we can get done. The building codes one, there's already a plan, but the risk assessments for our scoping for our critical facilities, we haven't talked about it, so we really need to get together. Like we've talked about the underpass and the culvert, but like we need to get together and say what buildings we'd like to concentrate on, and then we can get scoping on what the prices are and what our options are for doing what we want to fix up the buildings.
The only question with any of those subcommittee meetings is, just remember, if there's more than 3 of us, it technically is a board meeting. So, which we can have them and talk about stuff, but we can't make decisions. Similar to like what we do with the DRI meetings, right? Like, we can all be there, we can talk about stuff, but any real decisions come here to get voted on.
That's what we're all doing in those, like, nobody believes that they can make decisions in the meetings, you know, it all comes to here. But we're lining up work to, you know, to be seen and to get approved, hopefully.
Which that's perfectly fine.
So, I'm still trying to get the energy audit for the wastewater treatment plant. And yeah, I just want to see about coming in and get the some things on letterhead and get those sent out.
Yeah, we can help with letters.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that's it for me.
Terry.
We did a bunch of DRI meetings. We talked with James on the 10th about what's going to go on, hopefully at some point soon with the pit. Unfortunately, you couldn't make that meeting.
I missed it.
Yep. And there's been some discussion with some of the people, like, on different ideas that they want to try to present to you. So I think that's kind of where they're going, is what can we do with this area to make it look more appealing from the street. Interestingly enough, a lot of the artist type people went down there and sat around on the benches. They looked around. One of the things they were talking about is the way all the power lines go through. Like, we don't want really tall art because it's going to be, you can't see it when you're driving by because the power lines are going to be in the way. So I thought that was a good point. You know, and there's a couple of questions I want to run through you that I'd like to ask Julie Sweet. Like, if they're wondering, do they want more art beautifications versus just beautification in that area?
And she wasn't on Friday, right?
She was not on this Friday, so we weren't able to. I will not be able to be here this Friday, but I'm going to send you some information, and then we maybe can start getting some ideas with that. But Christina DeStefano has come a couple of times. Mike Poe, Christine Nickerbacker has given some input. I know Keith Nichols was here. Who else am I missing? Rusty. Rusty was here with that one, and Laura was on Zoom.
Jimmy Mead has been on the two.
Oh, he was on the computer the one day. So there is interest in this. They really want to see something nice happen there. I think that's good. And one of the interesting thing was, because this wasn't something that had come up the year before, was with that nice seating area next to the steamer house. That's like a different view.
Yeah, it's definitely a different perspective.
Right. So how to incorporate all that in. So it's interesting for me to watch the artistic minds playing with things on paper and such like that. So that has been great.
Did anybody even mention my idea about the letters?
You know, the
I brought
problem
it up
is
the first time.
they do. We were talking, and there's something, I'll spit it off with you another time, but you know, it's interesting because you don't really, do you really want to draw into the pit, or do you want to keep it up on the side towards the sidewalk? And that sidewalk is actually, that space off the sidewalk is actually bigger than you think it is. When you go and walk it, and even today I walked it again, I took a few more pictures and was thinking about what people were saying. There's more space, and you don't have to like mess with anything, because we don't want to mess with any soil. We just want to like,
as little as possible.
right. So, and they understand that. So that continues, and I'm going to send you the questions for Julie Sweet. That would be great.
Yeah.
And the other thing was the HOM meeting. Oh no. Oh dear. I'm not sure that'll be considered art.
Whole wall electric billboards.
Yeah, not art. The historic Owego Marketplace meeting was great. I think there were 14 different shop owners there, so that was nice. They were talking about the different festivals and who likes it and who likes what, who doesn't. That was kind of interesting. What was really nice was
Kim and Steve Crudy were there, from Buddy Duddy's, and their building is starting next month, the one on Front Street. So that's really exciting news. They had some issues with funding. One of the banks that was loaning them a nice chunk of money had pulled out. Not really their fault, it was kind of a post-COVID thing. So they were kind of talking about their vision as the Vermont Country Store type look for that building. So that was really good news to hear. I think from the village's standpoint, to have another really neat store there, plus some sort of a maybe flower mart or Christmas mart or whatever, there on the corner where they used to have, remember they used to have the flowers there? It was so pretty. So anyway, that was very good news too. And then I went to the DOT meeting last Friday. And I do kind of agree that poor young man who was here. I mean, I look at it as they've got a bad cavity right now, but they want to wait till DOT wants to wait till it's a root canal. Yeah. They're not going to do anything when it's bad cavity. Yeah. Which is really too bad because it would be better to have something starting now. But I don't see that happening.
I kind of see it a little differently, that like it's our responsibility, and they're letting us know now that they're not going to pay for it, and that if the tunnel collapses, that they'll repair it so that the interstate goes on, and that we just will not have access to our wastewater treatment plant. So we need to get it into our heads to plan for the future, to explore ways of, trying to still get access routes, still trying to repair it. We need to potentially look at relocating the whole wastewater treatment plant. So like we really do need to get it around,
Yeah.
But it's our problem that we own that tunnel. They're letting us know we own it. We own the culvert. We've had over 10 years of yellow flag reports on it, of it's being in trouble. But we haven't been red flagged yet. So that's good.
How did we own the tunnel? Why did we say we owned it? Because of board resolution?
Yeah, it's not like it wasn't a previous. There was no board that made a bad choice. Like, it's not like we were allowed to not own it. Like when we built the plant, it was like 67 or 68. Then the highway got put in. They put it in, at that time, we agreed to have it. We agreed to maintain it and repair it. It's ours.
I don't think you really get to say whether you're going to have a highway or not, though.
No.
Like, that's like eminent domain through, and they just do it. I mean,
So we had our council of government meeting last Thursday here, and one of the attendees, although he wasn't on there, but his people were on there, was our new congressman, Nick Langsworthy. So I brought up to them that this is a big issue, and now it's a federal interstate. So take this down to Daddy Trump, whatever. And let's figure this out, because now it's the federal government's road. It's not your state DOTs.
well,
And there's critical infrastructure that we can't.
right, we can't manage that.
And without a sewer plant, that's health issues, that's all, everything.
Right. And that was what they brought up too, that they haven't had any OSHA issues or anything, DEC issues. They would prefer to keep it that way at the treatment plant, but it is hard to deal with things.
Well, I'm saying if that gets cut off and we can't operate the sewage treatment plant, that's a major health risk for everybody in the village.
Well, and all the way down to Chesapeake.
Right.
So, yeah. But they did have some, like the ladies who came from DOT were very nice, the gentleman was too. They did have some things on different sorts of funding you might be able to have access to get things going. I think the meeting was good though, that it at least highlights that there is an issue.
Yeah.
I mean, Rusty's idea of putting a bridge over it sounds great to me, because then you wouldn't have to worry so much about the culvert.
that idea was that if you, did people see the pictures, that dark picture of the culvert? The idea there would be that little bit of stuff that's on top of that culvert before you get to the highway is not sufficient. The idea would be to put a bridge over the culvert. Now, take the culvert's gone, and you put a little bridge there over where the culvert was, like a bridge over any road. This is a significant cost, but lots less cost than a lot of things. And then underneath that bridge, we could put anything.
Right.
And there's not enough room now to get vehicles and stuff through there. We could dig that down deeper, and why'd you shake your head no?
Because you said you'd only get a little bit of space with the culvert the way it is right now.
No culvert gone, by culvert,
Okay. Sorry.
culvert gone, bridge over the top. Driveway road there, number of feet deeper so we can get things through there. Big trucks for our sewer plant, fire trucks. Yes, when there's significant water, there'll be water on that road underneath there, but there's not water there most of the time.
Like the underpass.
It'd be like the underpass, that's right, that's what it'd be. And that would take care of our emergency worries and problems, et cetera, but that's still a significant ask and possibility, but that's probably the best possibility that we could possibly have with anything they'd be willing to do. They're not willing to do that.
So I brought it up to the congressman, like this little village is not gonna shut down a federal interstate. With our $3 million budget, we're not.
I'll tell you some more about this later.
Yeah, anyway, that's all. Thanks for letting me go to the HOM meeting, that was very nice.
All right, anytime you want, 'cause
Excellent.
usually on Tuesdays when
I'll go for you when you're bowling.
Mike's got a whole list of meetings that you
or
can go
kidney
to.
stones or whatever.
It was good to hear at that meeting that the yellow flags, it doesn't mean that like it's at imminent collapse. They're not thinking that that's happening right now.
I'll tell you all about that stuff later.
Yeah, when it turns into a red flag, there's like more maintenance and inspections that would have to happen. So, yeah.
Let's see, Fran's not here, hopefully she'll get better soon. Now it's down to me. I'm busy, mostly been working on the budget stuff. Yeah, I was in the hospital too.
You all right?
Yeah, I had a kidney stone. It was not fun. 0 stars, do not recommend. And apparently I got another one in there, it's coming out. I don't know when, it's just chilling.
Well, those can be incredibly painful.
That's the only thing that you can compare to giving childbirth.
I gave birth to a baby.
I've gotten that okay. I was trying to find something to compare that to. There's nothing you can compare to childbirth. Kidney stone, yes.
Yeah,
I've got
I
that.
didn't know what was going on, but
It's okay to say it, you won't get hit.
they figured it out pretty quick. Can't wait to get those, couple CAT scans, ultrasound. All right, normally I'd say public comment, I mean public left. So let's do our executive session. Nate, I guess we'll call you on the telephone.
Call him on the telephone.
Sounds good.
9.
Let's see if it works. Okay,
We-
we're back,
We don't.
regular session.
We don't need to discuss the other bit or anything, we just.
No.
say what we do.
Oh, that's,
But I will call the other guy and tell him what the bid
that
is.
was.
Yeah.
Okay. That was, oh,
Now I need a motion.
So we just need a,
I'd like to motion to accept the bid from Mr. Mead. Do I need to say the price?
Yeah,
Of
sure.
$150,000 as is to the building at 178 Main.
I second.
and Nate said that we should put in, Nate, what'd you say we should put in there, that you authorize you to draw up a contract and me to sign the contract?
Yeah, reflecting the offer from Mr. Mead.
Very good. And Nate will draw up the contract. Thank you, Nate.
Okay. Any other discussion on the offer? Rusty?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Dave? Yes. Terry?
Yes.
Charles?
yes.
And yes.
So it is written, so it shall be done.
Are we ready to adjourn? Move to adjourn.
So excited for that building.
Almost a record. With how much stuff was in on the agenda,
It
definitely.
seemed like it was longer than.
Yeah.
Nate, we'll see you soon.
Thanks, Nate.
Stay warm.